Now, those people, as I've mentioned, are Ms. Kelly Kumalo and Ms. Gladys Kumalo.
Nanjengoba bese ngishilo ukuthi abantu labo uyena uMiss Kelly Khumalo kanye naye uma Kelly Khumalo. Sorry, Miss Kelly Khumalo kanye naye umama uGladys Khumalo.
Thank you. Now, we can then say, without doubt, that on the basis of those who he consulted, they gave him the description of the people who were in the house.
Sesingasho ke manje ngaphandle ke kokungabaza ukuthi ke kulabo ke akhuluma nabo ibona ke abasho bachaza ke ukuthi ke bakanjani bakanjeni banale impawu abanazo le impawu abantu abangena endlini.
That is now when he took over the investigation himself.
Manje ke sikhuluma ngesikhathi lesi athatha ngaso noma aqala ngaso uphenyo.
Thank you. Now, just to give a bit of a background again, do you still remember that when Brigadier came on to testify here, he brought in a new element in the case to the effect that this was actually not a robbery that went wrong. It was actually a hit, meaning somebody had approached other people, or someone had approached someone that someone or other people, they should go and kill Senzo.
Uzokhumbula ke ukuthi ke waseletha okunye ke manje noma ukushaye ke kulona ke qala leli yena ku Brigadier ngesikhathi soku ezokuthi ubufakazi ukuthi ke cha asikona ukuthi lapha yana kwakuyobanjwa inkunzi kwase kungahambi kahle lokho kodwa akokwenzeka ukuthi cha kunomuntu owakhuluma nomunye noma wakhuluma nabanye ukuthi ke akuyobula uSenzo ngalela langa yiloko afika kwakusho yena la.
Did you also hear that, or I'm just imagining things that he could have said?
Ngabe into lena mina ke nje engicabangela yona emqondweni yami noma wakuzwa nawe ekusho lokho?
Angakuzwa washo Gininda.
I heard it was said by Gininda.
Thank you. You will also confirm that he says, in terms of his own investigation, the planning of the killing of the deceased happened at the Phosphorus Hostel. Yeah, it happened at Phosphorus Hostel. That is, the planning happened at Phosphorus Hostel, and the people who ultimately went to go and kill Senzo came and gathered at that very same hostel after the incident happened.
Uzokhumbula ke ubufakazi bakho esho ukuthi ke itulo lokubulala yena ke uSenzo lenziwa ke ehostel yase Phosphorus Basuthu Hostel Phosphorus ukuthi ke abantu labo ke bayohlanganyela khona ke lapho ila itulo la lenziwa khona.
Now, in the course of his further investigation, having heard that information, then he penned a number of affidavits wherein he was requesting the magistrates to give him the permission to go and investigate your cell phones and this other accused person's cell phones here.
Uqhubeka ke enza uphenyo lwakhe ushilo ke kubufakazi bakhe la enkantolo ukuthi wasenza ke icelo phecelezi ke istatement eyifungelwe ama affidavit kuyona ke imanje ukuthi ke manje aseqale ke ngophenyo lwakhe ukuthi aphenyeke umakhalekhukhwini wakho kanye futhi nomakhalekhukhwini babanye abasola laba.
Now, when he approached the magistrate for the authority to go and investigate that which he wanted to investigate, he explained to the magistrate in this affidavit those particular suspects that he was looking for. In other words, he gave the description of those suspects, amongst others, your description, according to what is contained in this affidavit.
Sekukwenzileke lokho senzileke isicelo sakhe ngawo ama affidavits lana kuyona ke imanje ecela ke igunya noma ke imvume ke yokuthi aphenye kwabasho ke nabasola laba ke afisa ukuthi abaphenyeke nala kubona ke labo basola labo wakusho nawe.
Now, let us then look at the affidavits. Let us then look at the description of the person who he says was carrying a gun in his affidavit when he approaches the magistrate for permission to go and investigate further.
Asibuke ke manje ukuthi uthini ke uma ngabe echaza ke usona ke isicelo sakhe kuyona ke imanje ngalo muntu ke athi uyena owayephethe isibhamu.
Yeah, we might not limit that ourselves only to the description of that perpetrator. There's also other information which is also very crucial in respect in this case. We will also touch base with that.
Khona ke nokunye futhi okusemqoka kakhulu ke akushoyo ke nako ke sizobheka.
Now, we'll start with the statement that Brigadier Gininda read into record on the 22nd of January 2024.
Sikhona ke statement lasifunda ke la enkantolo ke 22 zika January 2024.
We'll look at from page 32. It's a very lengthy statement, but I won't go throughout the statement. I'll only concentrate on those because it's part of the record. If anybody wants to read it, they can visit it. But I'll only concentrate on those aspects that are relevant to you.
Uzogxila ke kulokho ke okuqondene nawe ngoba ke istatement eside kakhulu.
Thank you. Now, this is how it started. Circumstances which led to the statement being read into records. Now, on page 32, from line number 7, I don't have a copy of the record, but I'll give Mr. Jonah to assist you. This is what happened. The court, we have got to read that statement. Say, I was suggesting the same for Mr. Baloyi. Then Mr. Baloyi says, no, I want to point out that my learned friend wants to use a statement that he has not yet proven, that he has not proven as yet. He must first prove the statement, and then there's an intervention there. Then the court says, no. He does not have to prove it if he wants this witness to read it under cross-examination. Okay, that is the law. Then Mr. Baloyi says, Advocate Baloyi, but it's written in the transcript here that Mr. Baloyi, so I'll read what is written here. Mr. Baloyi says, well, we still maintain that if he wants to cross-examine on a statement, he first have got to prove it. Then the court says, indistinct, in brackets, circumstances. Just read that for everybody to know what is in that document. And then Brigadier Kininda then starts to read it. And then he introduces himself as saying, I just read the first portion. And then he says, all right, my lord. So it says, I am the undersigned Bongani Nicholas Kininda, who states under oath as follows in English. Then he states that he was employed, is an employee of the South African Police Services and performed his duties under the Act that governs the South African Police Services. He's currently stationed. He mentions everything, and then he proceeds it. I am the lead investigator of Fosloras case 63610 of 2014, which is a case of murder where Senzo Mayo was shot and killed on 26 October between 8:30 and 9 in the evening. It initially appeared that it was a robbery that gone wrong. Witness statement under oath indicated that two black maids entered the house demanding cell phones and money, purporting to be a house robbery. 7 adults and 1 child were present in the house when the accused entered. Now, this is where the relevance with regard to you starts on page 34. The witnesses stated that one of the accused was carrying a firearm purporting to be a revolver. This accused was described as a black male with big eyes, dreadlocks, wearing a khaki or brown jacket or top and a hat. He was shorter in height than the second suspect. The second suspect, well, let us, for the sake of completeness, the second suspect was described as a tall, slender, neatly shaven, and dark in complexion. That was just the description of the second suspect by Brigadier Kininda when he approached the magistrate. Now, he approaches the magistrate in an affidavit. In an affidavit, it means it's a sworn statement. In a sworn statement, you can only state facts that you know. But it says here, the witnesses stated that one of the accused was carrying a firearm purporting to be a revolver. Do you follow that?
Lana ke i-statement esifungele. I-statement esifungelwe ke uma ngabe uya naso ke manje kufanele ke ukuthi lokho kubhalwe lapho ke kube amaqiniso. Manje ke kwezinye zezinto ke ezibhaliwe ke lapha ukuthi ke abasolwayo ofakazi ababesendlini omunye ke walabo abangena indidi bamchaze nanje umuntu ke wayephethe isibhamu leso ababethi yi-revolver.
Now, the evidence of Mr. Madlala, do you recall it as to what he says about the firearm that was purportedly being carried by the person who had a possession of the gun? Do you still remember his testimony in that regard?
Ingabe usakukhumbula yini ubufakazi bakhe uTumelo Madlala mayelana ke nalona ke kulabo abantu ababili abathi bangena lo oyedwa ke ayithi wayiphethe isibhamu?
Ngiyakhumbula.
Yes, I do recall.
Yeah, Mr. Milo, you strike me like you are tired. Are you tired?
Ukhathele futhi.
Hayi angikhathele.
No,
Yeah.
I'm not tired.
Yes, you know when you say, ngiyakhumbula, okay, no, thank you. Okay, thank you. What, if you can remind the court, what did he say about the firearm, which he observed, the type of firearm that he observed as being carried by the person going to the house carrying that firearm?
Uma kuwukuthi ke usakhumbula ungatshela inkantolo ukuthi wathini noma yini eyashiwo uyena uTumelo Madlala ngesibhamu lesi athi yena wasibona ngalela langa.
Sakhe wathi wabona isibhamu esinesonto.
In his statement, he mentioned that he saw a firearm with a wheel.
Thank you. Now, subsequent to the testimony of Mr. Madlala, the state called numerous ballistic expert witnesses. These aspects was taken up with them, and all of them confirmed that when a person defines a firearm with a wheel, undoubtedly that person refers to a revolver. Do you still remember that?
Emuva ke kwaloko bufakazi lobo bakhe uThumela Madlala abashushisi base bebiza ke ofakazi ke abasebenza ngeibhamu ekuhongoti zona ke ibhamu basho bonke ke ukuthi uma ngabe umuntu isibhamu esisho ngaleyo ndlela kusho ukuthi lo muntu loyo ukhuluma ngerevolver.
Do you still remember that?
Yes, I do remember.
Thank you. Now, don't worry about the ballistic results and everything. We'll come and deal with that later on. But as we come to them, I'll urge you to have this in mind. Do you understand?
Ungayihluphi ke ngemiphumela ke yesibhamu mase sifika ke kulokho ngizokucela ukuthi ke ukukhumbule lokho.
Don't worry for now.
Ungayihluphi okwamanje ngalokho.
Do you understand?
Yeah, we have.
Yes, I understand.
Thank you. Now, he further describes the person who purportedly was carrying a firearm, which was a revolver, according to what the witnesses told him, as a black male with big eyes, dreadlocks, wearing a khaki brown jacket or top and a hat. Oh, a black male with big eyes.
Uyaqhubeka ke athi ngaloko yena akutshelwa ibona ke ofakazi uma ekhuluma ke ngalomuntu okwayephethe isibhamu ukuthi ke kwakumuntu wesilisa umuntu omnyama owaye namehla amakhulu
with dreadlocks, wearing a khaki or a brown jacket.
Owaye namadread fake ke ijacket eyayikhaki
or a top. A jacket or a top.
The witnesses want to confirm khaki or brown?
It was khaki or brown jacket.
Khaki noma ke iyayi brown itop noma ijacket.
Yes, and a hat.
Kanye nesigqoko.
He was shorter in height than the second suspect.
Wayemfishane ke uma ngabe umqhathanisa nalo wesibili umsolo.
Now, you immediately observe in this description that Mr. Gininda, that Brigadier Gininda gave in his affidavit, on the basis of which he approached the magistrate, that it does not mention the color of the person. Not so.
Qaphela ke lana ukuthi ke kule statement esifungele la aya ngaso so kuyona ke imanje ukuthi ke ibala lomuntu lona ke noma lomsola akalisho uBrigadier Gininda.
Yebo.
That's correct.
And is it correct that the color description of this suspect with a firearm has been the centerpiece of the description of all the witnesses who were in the house? Not so.
Akusona iqiniso noma akukho njalo yini ke ukuthi ke umuntu lona ke waye njani ngebala noma ngobala ukuthi ke kwakuyinto nje noma kwakuudaba ke bonke ofakazi laba babesendlini ke ukuthi kwakuyinto ababekhuluma ngayo ukuthi lo muntu lo wayebukeka kanjani la ke nebusweni.
Yeah, bonke ofakazi bakhulumile ngayo.
Yes, all the witnesses mentioned that in their statements.
Thank you. I don't want you to speculate as to the reason why Brigadier Gininda decided not to include the color of that person being such a prominent thing, and when you correctly say that all the witnesses in the house referred in the description of this witness of this intruder with a firearm referred to his color. But because Mr. Mube, this is your case, you know the law says an accused only needs to give a version that is reasonably possibly true, and that is not a speculation. That is your version. Would you have a comment as to why would Brigadier Gininda, when he approaches the magistrate, avoid or omit to tell the magistrate, you know what, I am actually looking for a black male with such and such a color, as a description that he got from the witnesses in the house?
Objection. Counsel does caution that this, my lord, I object to this question. I'm saying the counsel does signal that it is now calling the witness to speculate. And it's exactly that, my lord. I submit this question should not be allowed. It calls for speculations, my lord.
Sheshe sithi ke akavumelani ke uyacela ukuthi inkantolo angawuvumeli ke lo mbuzo ngoba ke angeke kuloyo mpendulo ezovela akusona ke impendulo yinto nje ozoyicabangela leyo ozoyikhuluma. Uyacela inkantolo ukuthi ayingawuvumeli lo mbuzo.
My lord, this is not speculation. This is based on facts. We've got a brigadier who he goes to the magistrate and says, "Sir, can you please assist me? I am investigating this case, and these are my targets. These are the persons of interest. So for me to go and probe further in this investigation, can you please help me?" But now, because the identity of those perpetrators is at issue, I want to approach this particular individual. Because Brigadier Gininda would not have been given a permission to approach each and every person on the street. He needed to tell the magistrate, no, you know what, I don't want to waylay you or mislead you, but the person that I want to approach, this person is a black male, and describe all the features as being the features that he could have received from the people in the house. In this statement, it does not do that. He omits, I don't know how, but just one important aspect. Also, he omits one aspect, my lord, that has been a defining feature in the one of the most defining feature of the perpetrators who got into the house, as per the description of those people who were in the house. Now, I'm saying to this witness, Mr. Mncube, I don't want you to speculate, but based on the facts that are before court here, what is your comment on the fact that this so important feature, the color of that person, was omitted? Remember, and I've said, my lord, that this witness only needs to give a version that is reasonably possibly true. If what he says here is not reasonably possibly true, then it's something else. But it does not amount to speculation. It's something that is based on facts. So where is speculation there? Because indeed, that I'm asking him is based on facts that are before court. I would say, my lord, that's not a speculation. Unless if the state says that this witness is bad when he professes his case or when he gives his defense to proffer a version that is reasonably possibly true. Remember, I will have to build my argument based on what he's saying. So, but if he is stopped from doing that, then he may as well keep quiet.
Who is stopped?
I'm responding to the witness. I'm responding to the allegation. I'm saying if he is stopped.
Can Mr. Mzulu know why Kininda phrased that document the way he did? Can you know that?
Let us hear his answer, my lord.
No.
I beg the court to allow him to hear his answer. If his answer is a speculation, then the court will rule on that at the end of it all in the case.
No.
Yes.
It's a valid question.
Yes,
Can he know why Kininda phrased that opinion the way he did? Can he know?
Let's hear from him, my lord. Whether
I'm
he
asking
knows,
you as counsel because you're saying there's no speculation. Just want to find out.
he may
Can
know.
he know?
He may know.
Okay, fine.
Thank
Right.
you. He may know.
I'm not,
When the court says fine, I don't know what does that mean, my lord. So he can proceed to proffer that which I think he may know.
Yeah, you're saying he may know. He
Yes.
doesn't say that. You are saying that.
But the court is asking me. my lord.
Yeah, that's fine. That's why I'm
Yes.
saying fine. You are saying that. No
Yes.
problem. No problem.
And then what about the objection, my lord?
No, Mr. Minister, let's go on, please.
Thank you. I understand the court to say the objection is overruled. Then you can answer the question. When the court says you may proceed.
umbuzo ukuthi ke manje kunganike ukuthi ke uGininda udaba lolu ke somqoka kangaka kuyinto ke ofakazi bonke ke ababesendlini abakhulume ngayo ukuthi uma ngabe seyake kumanje ukuthi udaba lolu angalibhali lapha yana kule affidavit yakhe.
njengoba wayebona ukuthi uzosilimaza yena.
It's because he could see that this was going to come back and hit him a lot.
Ngoba wayazi ukuthi lento eshiwo abantu abasendlini akusiyo lafuna ukuyenza yena.
Because he knew very well that which was said by the people that were inside the house is not what he wanted to do.
Yena ufuna ukubopha umuntu omhlophe
He wanted to arrest someone who was light in complexion.
endlini bakhuluma umuntu omnyama.
In the house, they were speaking about a dark person or a black person.
So wabona uzoyigwaza ngowakhe.
And now he saw that this was going to be an own goal.
Thank you. Are you done?
Qedile?
Yeah, ngimilapho.
Yes.
For now.
Yeah.
Thank you. Now, remember the story of a hat